knitters, it's Linda Scocker here. Today I'm going to show you how to reinforce and cut a steek using the crochet method. Now the first thing that I tend to do is make a slip knot on my hook and then push it through the cast off edge of your swatch. I've got a 5-stitch Steek panel here. You can see white, green, white, green, white. The white stitch in the middle is going to be where we'll be cutting in halfway, like right in that ladder between the two legs of the white stitch. So we're going to attach it just above that, just above here. Some people make a nice pretty slip stitch edge along a few stitches so that it can be seen after when once cutting, but I don't worry about that. So you're going to pull through to a loop from the edge and then secure it with as another stitch. Okay, so what we'll be doing is crocheting one leg of the white stitch with one leg of the green stitch, so the adjacent stitch. So it'll be like that. Okay, now you'll see lots of videos show you how to do a steek using just a slip stitch or single crochet stitch. I'm going to not do that. Using the English double crochet or the American single crochet, you know, there's different terms for crochets. I'm going to go through the two legs of the stitch so that I have two loops and then take yarn and pop it through. Now what this does is creates a slightly taller, some people don't like it because it's bulky, but it does create a taller stitch. But I think that what it helps is to separate the two sides. You'll see when we're finished. The other technique I have is folding the work like this, so you can see one half of each stitch, and then it's really easy just to push the hook through both legs like that. Easy-ish. I'm not a crocheter. I think that's probably evident as I go along. You don't need to know how to crochet per se to do this, as long as you know how to do a chain and you know, draw yarn through, then that's good enough. So we're going to go through one stitch at a time. You can see there's the leg of the white stitch, and that's going to be crocheted with the corresponding leg of the green stitch. Now we're going to head all the way down until we get to the end, and then go back up again. Okay, now we're nearing the end. At the end I've got the same color, so you can't tell, it's harder to tell where the stitch that you have to go into is. So I'm just going to go with those two legs and the final one here, and then go across over the edge like that, and we're going to turn the corner. So you can see when I turn this around that it has pulled away that stitch away from the center a little bit. So yes, it's a little bit bulkier, but after we finish the other side, you'll see how clearly defined that cutting edge will be. All right, so now we're going to go back through the well, I guess it was a cast on edge, yep. And now, again with my two white stitches there at the end, that's a bit annoying. And then we're going to go through the one white leg and one green leg on the other side. Okay, so let's get on with that. If you do a fold like we did before, it makes it easier to see what the legs are. that's a bit tricky to get into that one. It's a bit tight. I'm all over the shop with the video. Sorry, I can't see what I'm doing. There, those two. And now there's our first set of legs. Okay. Coming to the end, slightly tricky to see. I think the green yarn might have been a mistake because I can't see what I'm doing. But here we go. All right, so there we go. We've come to the end. I'm going to go through that cast off row and then just do a couple of chains to finish off. I can break this yarn, pull it through. Now what we have is a really open way of seeing the ladder that we're going to cut. See? Look at that. Now we can attack it with our scissors. Now that we've reinforced our steek, our little swatch here, it's time to do some cutting. If it really was just a small piece like this, then I would probably just get my scissors and go for it. But if you're making a cardigan, you'll want to put something between the layers so that you don't accidentally cut the other side. So just see if you can find a piece of cardboard or something like that to protect the work. I'm going to go and grab that now. Okay, I just found this little piece of cardboard. I'm going to pop it between the layers like this, just to protect that bottom layer. You don't want to accidentally cut it, especially if it's a cardigan that you've worked really hard on. All right, so again, I would use just a little pair of embroidery scissors if it was a small piece like this, but if you have a lot of cutting, you might actually prefer to use some sewing scissors. So get your big ones out, and that way you can just go. Obviously the very first time you do it, you want to be a little bit more cautious. So let's just take a look and listen to that building work going on. I'm so sorry. So I'm just going to pull apart that first stitch. I might have gone a bit close there so you can see. I'm going to snip here and then open it, and you can see each ladder. You're going to just cut those. Okay, simple as that. I'll do it on the table with my cardboard underneath so you can see. You just go between. Having those beautiful crochet edges just lifts up the work so that you're not going to accidentally cut into it. You can be as cautious or as bold as you like. Let's keep going and cut, cut, cut. Done. Open. It's very satisfying, you know. And now I have a lovely flat piece I can do something with. And look how pretty the edge is. So I think it's really nice. It's a nice way of closing it off. Yeah. So now this becomes your selvage. So if you're making a cardigan, that would be folded over like this, and that is your inside edge. So that's where sometimes having a wider steek comes into play if you have 7 or 9 stitches, so that selvage is a bit longer. But for me, that's okay. Oh, it depends on what you want to do, of course. I'm okay with that. I'll just follow whatever the pattern says usually. And if you're going to pick up stitches for a button band, then this is where you would do it. So you would come in into this last column, or the last pattern leg with the steek column. Pick up stitches all the way along the edge for your button band. You can sew down this if you want to. Some people cover it with grosgrain ribbon or whatever you like. Done. How good.